Hello, everybody. Hello, this is Dr. Barrett Matthews. I want to welcome you. I want to welcome you all here today. This is Media Boss Live again. Again, this is like the third one we're doing now. This is the third one. So I'm excited to have you all here today. And I got a fun one for you today. We're going to talk about how to run your business with social media. So I'm excited. I'm going to have my guest come on in a minute. So just be ready for that. If I'm giving you guys a chance to go ahead and get your coffee, whatever, get yourself ready to come on in because I said we're gonna start at 11:30, but I came on live just a minute earlier just to give you guys a chance to get set to come on in. So get ready, get your pad and pen. I hope y'all got your pad and pen ready because because you're gonna learn some things today from my dear friend, Miss Taria Hodge. That's right, Taria Hodge. Some of you know her, but if you don't know her, get ready because she is going to be here today on Media Boss Live. Once again, if you're just joining, I'm Dr. Barrett Matthews, and I'm excited. I'm excited because Taria is not only the person I call a social media maven, but she is also a dear friend. We like family. That's so she is my girl. She has been dealing with social media. Well, I'm gonna let her tell you how long she's been dealing with it and what she has done with it and how you can benefit from social media because she's the host of Social Media Saturdays. And I'm so blessed to be able to share with her audience today. So I want to bring on, with no further ado, my dear friend, Miss Taria Hodge. Taria, welcome to Media Boss Live. I'm excited to have you here today. So welcome to the group today. Everybody's excited to see you. Welcome.
What? Well, Barrett, thank you so much for having me on Media Boss. I'm super excited, just to sit down with you and unpack all things social media, well, at least most things social media, and have some fun while we're doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We've known each other for quite some time now, and it's amazing when I think about how long we've known each other now. I mean, I think we met like in 2010.
I was just about to say it was around 2010,
Yeah,
2011 when we first met.
yeah,
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 we met at the CEO Business Cafe.
yeah, yeah. Wow,
That's a
wow.
throwback for you.
Yeah, it goes way back. It goes way back. And some of you watching, when we say the CEO Business Cafe, you know what we're talking about. Because yeah, Taria and I go. Look, I've seen you. I love your hair, by the way. Okay?
Oh,
I've
thank
known you through many hairstyles, so I love
Yeah, this is the look as we step into our fabulous 50s.
that. Hey,
So yeah, we're
yes,
rocking the look.
fabulous 50s. Whoa, Lord, yes, yes, yes. So anyway, I'm just thinking about how I felt when I got up this morning. So anyway, but many of you understand what I mean. So I want to let everybody know. Like I said, Taria and I have known each other a while, and since I have known her, ever since I've learned so much about social media, and how it can benefit me in business. But Taria, I want you to take a second and just tell your story about how you even got into the area of social media, if you will.
Yeah, and it's real funny, Barrett. I always love to share the story because I tell people that I was not one of those persons that came onto social media willingly. So I remember way back in the day when all of my friends were getting on platforms such as Facebook and LinkedIn. I was a tad bit hesitant. I was resistant to it because I really couldn't understand the need for people, to be in the spotlight, to share as much as people were sharing on social media. And I just said, you know what, this is not for me. And so I remember around, I think it was around 2009, 2010, when
Mhm.
Facebook was just coming on the scene. I reluctantly got on the platform. I signed up for an account and I got on there. But things didn't really take off for me, or I didn't really start to pay attention to social media really until I stepped into the realm of entrepreneurship. And so, very early on, one of the things that I realized about social media is that social media leveled the playing field for me. And what do I mean by leveling the playing field? So, social media gave me the opportunity to position my business as any other larger brand had the opportunity to do. And so as a new entrepreneur that didn't have a large marketing budget, social media gave me the things to give me the opportunity to do things such as marketing my business. It gave me the opportunity to network, make connections, and that's when I really started to hone in and pay attention to the power of social media. And I was just like, oh my goodness, there is an opportunity here. I could position like well established companies and well established brands in the marketplace, and I could do this with a very, limited or small marketing budget.
Wow. So see, here's the thing for those of you, like I said, I've known Taria for quite some time now, and one of the things I like to mess with her about, she knows I do this all the time. I always say, Taria, you know so much about social media. You could be. Here's the thing you guys need to know. Taria is from the Virgin Islands, and we're here in the Maryland area. And in Maryland we have winters. We have winters here. So I always say to Taria, she knows, so she's laughing because I always say, "Why are you here? Go to the Virgin Islands. Get out of here. Go to the Virgin Islands." Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather be working on the Virgin Islands than working here, especially in the wintertime. So I always tell her, "Go make that beach money, girl. Go make that beach." And she has done it, but I was like. Here's what I'm picturing for those of you who don't. I'm picturing her sitting somewhere under a cabana somewhere or whatever, just on the beach with her laptop and some Wi-Fi nearby, so she can just do social media and make money there and show people how to make money on the beach. That's my picture of it. Now, I got to ask you: is that realistic? What I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I have done it, and I've been doing it, Barrett, now, as you probably know, over 10 years. So as we're sitting here, we're talking. I know you was going to say that
You know.
because this year is kind of like odd, right? Because I actually spent the winter here in Maryland, for the first time in 13 years. And so I've been actually on this, journey, and I call it my half and half. So I
Mhm,
spend
mhm.
half of my time continental US and the other half in the Caribbean, St. Thomas to be specific, where I'm at. But I'm going to take it back to business because once again, this is what being in the online and the digital space has
Yes.
afforded me to do. So one of the things that I knew early on that I wanted to do, I wanted to build a business that would be virtual and have a
Mhm.
large virtual component to it. So like I said, when I first started out, and just to share with our I call them superstars. So just to share with your audience and our superstars out there, to be honest, I wasn't that person who dreamt of entrepreneurship. I didn't have, in my mind that one day I would step in, to this field. So I would
Yeah.
tell anyone, if I'm totally honest, I was that person who stepped onto this journey without the plan. And I figured things out as I went along. But one thing that I knew for certain is that I wanted to be able to have flexibility in my business. So being tied down to an office, and I've done that. We mentioned CEO
Mhm,
Business
mhm.
Cafe. I didn't own or rented a physical space on my own, but I participated in virtual spaces. I did that. So one of the things that was really important for me is to have that flexibility. My family's in the Virgin Islands. As I took a look at my journey of entrepreneurship, I started to ask the questions: what do I want this life to look like for me? So getting into the virtual space and
Mhm.
getting into social media, online marketing, digital marketing absolutely afforded me that opportunity.
I love it. I
So
love
it's
it.
been fun. I have to say, it's been fun.
I'm sure
So
it has been. I can't imagine it being anything but fun.
so
And just make sure when you do the half and half that you spend the right half in the Virgin Islands.
well, you know what, Barrett, and I have to say this. This is the beauty about entrepreneurship and being on this journey. You have once again the opportunity to be flexible. So
Yes.
even though I am here in the wintertime, believe you me, my toes are cold. I got socks on, I got my furry slippers on as we speak, but I'm here for a good purpose. So I now am entering into another beautiful chapter, of my life, so I'm preparing to get married. I'm engaged. And
You
so
heard it
one of
here,
the things,
folks. You heard it here.
yeah.
I
So,
wasn't going to announce it, but
So one of the things that is required is to take a look at what we want the lifestyle to be. So this, at least for this year, I committed to spending the winter here. But I'm going to tell you, this is not going to be the plan next year. Like I said, my toes are cold, so we gotta rethink some strategies.
And that's the thing. Like, I was going to say she's got something to keep her warm in the winter, and I honestly was not talking about your fiance. I was talking about what you have in that cup because Taria loves her coffee. She loves her coffee. Yes, I was going to say that, but she brought up that she's engaged. So first of all, I want to say publicly congratulations. I've said it to you.
Thank
I want to say
you.
publicly
Thank you.
congratulations on that. And I've been sworn to secrecy for quite some while, for quite a while now. So now she's announced it on Media Boss Live. So we got that big announcement. So everyone can congratulate her as well. I'm hoping you all do that as well. So let's get into social media. So
Mhm.
it's funny. I remember when social media first began and people thought it was a fad. You know, people thought it was something was going to come and go, and now they know it's here to stay. For the business owner specifically, what kind of changes have you seen in social media over time that you think have some have that have benefited the business owner, and that you think that might have hurt the business owner?
That's a very good question. So one of the things, and I was just talking about this the other day, one of the things that I noticed is, like you said, social media is, a platform that did come on the scene. People, just like most things, people weren't really sure what it is. They weren't sure how to use it, especially for business, because once again, once it was introduced, especially platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, people really saw those things for personal use. They saw it as where younger generations were using social media, and they really couldn't, understand how to make it fit for business. And so as time went along, one of the things that people realized, and I myself, this is something that's not going to go away. One of the biggest challenges, though, that I see all the time with business owners that they struggle with is the platforms. And so you ask what are the things or some of the things that change all the time. It is platforms. So platforms come and platforms go. So one of the things that I've learned to pay attention to is, before I set up shop on a platform, kind of do some research, take a look at what the platform is doing, like the behind the scene things. Because like I said, Barrett, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about when video first started coming out. I think the first video platform that we got introduced to was Google Hangouts, if I'm not mistaken. So Google Hangouts, and
Possibly, yeah.
everyone was jumping on Google Hangouts. Now Google Hangouts is no more. And then from Google Hangouts, I think we went into Periscope, and people flocked from Google Hangouts. They went onto Periscope. There was another one, I think they're Blabs. And there's like countless other Blue Jean, there's countless other video streaming platforms that went away. And so, what I tell people, or what I coach on, is as you take a look at strategies for your business, it's less and less of the platform, but based on the strategy. And so when you take a look at it, it's implementing a video marketing strategy in your business, which everyone should have. If you're an entrepreneur, you should have some type of video marketing strategy built into your marketing, because video is where it's at. It's like one of the most powerful marketing tools that you could have out there, because video just encompasses everything. So instead of focusing on the platform, which would be one of the biggest, shifters, focus on the strategy of video. And then once you understand that you're going to have a video component, then you start to take a look at platforms. But what happens and what makes it really cool is, once you have your strategy, once you have your goals and your plans in place, when things shift and things change, you already have the strategy. You're not beholden to a platform, or because a platform goes away or things change, then you're left up in arms. Because I know the big talk this week, or in the past couple of weeks, has been TikTok. Is TikTok going to stay, or is TikTok going to go away? And what's the effect of, if there is a ban on TikTok, what's the effect that is going to have on your business? And so if you're an entrepreneur and you're on TikTok, like, really, what is your strategy? So are you just showing up on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook and you're doing videos and you're just putting your content out there? Or do you have strategies that would allow you to really, get the things that measure? Like, are you moving your audience to your email list? Are you finding ways to reach out and connect with your audience? And so it becomes less and less of depending on platforms, even though these are great tools. But I like to go a little bit deeper into the strategy and make sure that your strategy is sound. So if there is a change on a platform, or if a platform goes away, then you're simply able to shift to another tool or to another platform.
I love that. I love that. Now, so when a business owner is looking at strategy, is there are the strategies different from business owner to business owner, or is there usually just one strategy they should be looking to accomplish from that?
Yeah, so there are overarching strategies that you could have. So, like I said, one of the things that I take a look at video marketing as a strategy. And so, as we take a look at, doing things like videos, like we're sitting down here, we're doing a
Mhm.
podcast. Okay. And so if you are a business out there and you're taking a look at doing videos, then you might want to consider doing a video podcast. Some people do short form videos, some people do webinars. All of these things, is under the umbrella of video marketing. But you, as the entrepreneur, you have the ability to say, well, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on a podcasting strategy where I'm going to do something like what you're doing here now. I'm going to interview other experts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Yeah.
some people say, well, you know what, we were just talking about our dear friend Nikisha, the webinar queen, and
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
she said, hey, I'm going to build my video strategy around webinars, and her commitment is to do her webinars every week. So as you take a look at these, video marketing, it's an overarching strategy, but once again, it can be tailored specifically for the entrepreneur based on the goals that you have, or the goals that you want to achieve in your business.
I love that. So let's get to the question that everyone always asks. And I know you probably have heard it time and time again. What's the best social media platform to be on?
The one that your audience is on. I say,
And look, I don't even know that for a fact, but I'm assuming that you get asked that question all the time.
yeah, I do. And as much as I smile when I say the answer, I am so serious, because one of the things, Barrett, that I've learned, especially in this space, is that a lot of times we do a lot of stuff and we do a lot of hard work, but we're just positioned in the wrong place. So
Yeah.
one of the first things that I usually tell, all of my clients, people who are, in my programs, even when I teach it on Social Media Saturdays, before you start to select a social media platform, do some research. And so I
Mhm.
specifically call this social listening. Spend some time getting to know who your audience is. Who are your people? Number one. So that's the first thing that you need to be clear on, is who are your people. And then the second thing that you need to know is, where are your people hanging out? And so, are your people hanging out on Facebook? Are your people hanging out on LinkedIn? Are they on Instagram, YouTube, whatever social media platform that there is? Ask the question. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about social media. You
Mhm.
get a chance to fact find. I call it social listening. You get a chance to put your ear on these social media streets and find out what your people want. You find out where they are, and then you position yourself in those spaces. And I say that because one of the things I found, and I've been guilty of this too, one of the things I found is, like, we want to go on a social media platform because we're comfortable with the platform.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. And so we're on the platform, but we did it because we like the platform, or we create the content, the type of content, because we're comfortable
Yes.
with that type of content. But we didn't do any research to find out who is our audience, where they're hanging out, and what type of content do they like to consume. And so that's one of the easiest ways and the quickest ways to experience what I call social media burnout, because you could position yourself definitely on a platform and you could be doing all the right things or doing all the things, but you are not attracting your people because your people are not there. So that's the thing when people ask me what's the best platform, do your research. And the platform where your audience is, that's where you want to position your business, and you want to develop a clear strategy for that platform, get that platform up and running, and then start to introduce new platforms. So I'm a big proponent. I don't like social media overwhelm because it's one of the things that I hear people talk about. Entrepreneurs struggle all the time when it comes to social media. It's so overwhelming. There's so many places to be, so many things to do. How do you do it all and successfully run your business or stay attuned to the things that are
Hmm.
most important to you in your business? So what I say is choose one or two platforms based on the criteria that I just mentioned.
Hmm.
Get your strategy up and running on those platforms before you consider adding a third and a fourth. Okay, build up your audience, build up your network on those platforms, and then you'll find, even if it's just one or two platforms where you are focusing on solidly, it's more than enough, to help you in your business.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because, from my perspective, I talk to people about media as a whole, and I tell people to just focus on one area of media. Not I'm not talking about just social media. One area of media is to say that your audience only goes there. So
Mhm.
that's why I tell people you want to have social media, you want to have streaming, you want to have this because you don't. All of your audience doesn't just go to one place. But in saying that, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying there because the thing is, we can't just go where we're comfortable. we, we can't just go where we're comfortable because a lot of us will say, well, I just want to go and do podcasts because I like doing podcasts. And that's good. And you may have a good audience, but to limit yourself to only doing podcasts is saying that the only people you serve listen to podcasts. And we know that that is usually not true in most cases. So the thing is, you want to expand, but in social media, and this is why I'm so glad she said that, because in social media, you want to be specific in targeting where your audience is. Because if I'm in business and I know that most of my audience is not on Snapchat. It doesn't do any good for me to have a Snapchat account if they are
Right.
not there. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And I remember one of our friends, Trevor, he coined a phrase that I kind of stole and redefined. He had I don't know if you remember to read. He had a phrase called ego based marketing. You remember that?
Oh,
Well,
oh yeah.
I have redefined it. And what
Oh,
I say
cool.
ego-based marketing is when we base our marketing on our ego, on what we're comfortable with,
Hmm.
and instead of what our audience is into and where our audience is, because we may be comfortable with it. Sometimes you got to make yourself uncomfortable to please your audience. So I just
Yeah.
think that's imperative. And I'm glad you brought that
So
up.
I want to add a little bit onto what you said, right?
Hmm.
Because I think this is so key, and you touched on it. And so, you said if you're going to do a podcast, focus on, you tell people, hey, look, focus on one area of media. And so if you're going to do a podcast, this is what makes it so beautiful, because it goes back into the strategy. So you
Hmm.
are absolutely correct. So our people, when you take a look at, once again, our audience, and I like to call them our divine people. So when we take a look at our divine people, it really, really serves us to really do that research. And so,
Hmm.
yes, one of
Hmm.
the things that you would find is that most people don't consume just one area
Right.
of social media. But if you listen and you ask the questions, they will tell you things like, you know what, I absolutely love listening to podcasts, and this
Yeah.
is where I spend most of my time because I love podcasts and I do a lot of audio learning. So
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
go-to
You too.
for reading books. I'm an
You
audio,
too.
person. So I do a lot of audiobooks, I do a lot of podcasts over, I shouldn't even say this like over videos, right? But anyway, that's just me. But here's the thing, if you are developing a podcast for your brand, then there's this beautiful thing that's called repurposing.
Yeah.
So, how can you use the content that you've created in
Yeah.
your podcast to benefit other social media platforms? And
Yeah.
so, if you're doing a podcast and you know your podcast lives on Spotify or your podcast lives on YouTube, whatever your platform is, and
Mhm.
you find out, you do some social listening, and then you find out your audience is on Instagram. That's where they like to hang out in the social media space. Well, guess what? Instagram has this lovely thing that's called Reels.
Yeah.
So, what do? You showcase those little snippets, those short little videos of things in your podcast and drive the traffic back to your podcast
Exactly.
platform.
So,
Okay. And so that's what I talk about when you talk about strategy, is being able to, before you get into the thing, know what the plan is, know what your goals are, and
mhm.
then what are the things that you have to do to make it happen. So yeah, so I tell people, even if you're out here doing videos, people say it all the time, I'm going to create videos, but if you don't invite people on your email list to your video, you're not letting them know that, hey, I'm going to go live on Facebook, or I'm going to go live on LinkedIn, whatever the platform is. How are people going to show up?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And I love that. Thank you for that. I like that. So in your business, in the as you say, in these social media streets, um, is there a particular platform in business that you think that every business person has to have, and if so, why?
you know I think my favorite platform
Hmm.
is Facebook.
Okay.
And the reason why I say Facebook, it's kind of interesting because over the years I've studied Facebook.
Okay.
And one of the things that I think the platform does really, really well
Yeah.
is adapt, to its audience. So
Okay.
I know for some people, they get very frustrated when they see all of the changes that are happening on Facebook. Darn algorithm. But what I tell people is that the algorithm is the people. And so the platform will shift and the platform will change to meet the needs of its audience, the needs of its users. So one of the things that I find very interesting
Hmm.
is that Facebook as a platform itself will take a look at the things that are trending in the marketplace. And so let's take a look at Facebook and Instagram for a second. So by now we all know that Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah.
But before the merger happened, Instagram came out with their video feature, which is the shorts and the reels. What we saw very early on is that Facebook said, oh, people are consuming this type of content. So what are we going to do? We're going to make this available on our platform. And so Facebook gives people the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Eventually, they acquired Instagram. And so now you have an expansion of your content. So you could easily share between, Facebook and Instagram. Even with, we're talking about video, so I'm going to keep it with video. I remember when I first got into doing video on my own for Social Media Saturdays, actually.
Uh-huh.
Social
Uh-huh.
Media Saturdays, I think the first platform we really positioned on was on Periscope, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken. It's been
gosh.
so long,
Periscope. I
right?
remember
Yeah.
Periscope.
So on Periscope, and I remember getting onto Periscope and using places like Blab and things like that, because Facebook did
Hmm.
not have, a live video component
Yeah.
then. Okay. And so it took Facebook probably, I want to say a year, or probably a year and a half to add their video component to the platform. So their adaptability is really quick. So they'll see something, they'll take a look at how their users are engaging on content, and they will very quickly turn around and adapt that strategy to the platform, or they will go ahead and acquire acquire the company. Okay, and so definitely, hands down, Facebook is one of mine. I actually have to say, oh gosh, YouTube is another one, because once again, when you take a look at platforms and you look at how people are engaging on platforms and the amount of people going there, like YouTube is the largest search engine,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so if you, once again, are creating video content, even if you're not creating video content, I encourage like everyone to start to position with videos, because there's so much that you could do with videos. But YouTube is another place that, YouTube, is not, going to go away. And so people actively use YouTube. So those are the things that I take a look at. I think for me, I get less and less excited about the trendy platforms that pop up. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's good. I'm not saying that when these platforms come up that you don't position and take advantage. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the things that I've seen people do is people would see a new platform, that's coming up or came out, and it's a buzz. Clubhouse
Yeah.
is the buzz. I'm calling names. I'm dropping names. It's the buzz.
Go ahead.
And everyone said, I'm not going to use Facebook anymore because this is, where it's at over here, or I'm going to get off of this social media platform. And I kid you not, it goes away. And then you're even struggling to remember what was the name
Yeah.
of that platform? That was the
Yeah.
conversation I
Yeah.
had this week. What was the name of that platform again? Come on, you guys know it. It came out with
Right. Right.
COVID. That's all I remember. It came out with COVID. What's it called? 20 minutes. Oh, Clubhouse. Is Clubhouse still around? I don't know. So those are the things that I warn, entrepreneurs about when it comes to social media. It's
Hmm.
about, once again, having, the solid strategy, doing the research on the platforms. Okay, look at
Hmm.
the changes that the platforms, are actually making. So LinkedIn is another one. I look at LinkedIn all the time, and I'm just like, wow, I don't think LinkedIn is going anywhere soon,
Right.
because they constantly make changes and they
Hmm.
adapt their platform for their users' needs. So you could do things now on LinkedIn that you could, similar to what you do on I'm sorry, on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just those things that I urge and I encourage entrepreneurs to take a look at.
And I love the fact that, and guys, I'm this, like I said, I've known Taria for quite some time now, and I love the fact how she is really strongly pushing you to go towards video in your social media. And I'm gonna tell you, and Taria will back me up 100% on this. There was a time I couldn't get this girl to do a video, to get up and talk about anything. She was so shy and timid, and now she is a powerhouse. And I love her. She knows I love her. And it's just, I'm just so amazed and proud to see the way she just owns this space now. And I love this. I had to put that in there. I couldn't let this thing go by without bringing that up. Now, we talked
Uh-huh.
about video. What do you say to people about their written content when it comes to social media and the different platforms?
It's such a beautiful thing. What came to my mind as you said that is my mama always used to say, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." So,
Uh-oh. Go
so
for
that's
it.
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. So I'm gonna say this. So you touched on two things, Barrett, definitely as an entrepreneur on the journey, I struggled with. So I definitely struggled with video, and I definitely struggled with writing content. And it's is but these are the things, these are the fuel that we as entrepreneurs need for our marketing. So if we aren't producing content, and it's not just about producing content, let me just put it this way, because I've even shifted my mindset around it. So it's not even content, it's getting your message out into the marketplace, it's having these connecting conversations. So that's what I take a look at it as we sit and we take a look at what we're the messaging that we're putting out in there, out into the marketplace. How are we, like, first of all, attracting, our people, and how are we having these conversations that are shifting their mindset in around the thing that we do in our business. So that's the very first thing. Now, what I've learned is, and this is why I became so intrigued with video content. So, as hard as it is for me, or was for me, to turn on the camera, I found it easier to just turn on the camera and have the conversation.
Hmm.
I could always come back from that conversation where, once again, I'm doing social listening because I'm getting input from my audience. I could turn around and take that content and turn it in to written form, meaning I could write a blog post on it.
Hmm.
I could turn around and break it down to shorter social media posts. So, for the entrepreneur out there that is really stressed, with time,
Hmm.
but you really want to have a profound presence in the marketplace, and you
Yeah.
want to have a robust strategy, what I found the easiest thing to do is to start with the video, because from the video you could get all other sources of content that you need. From the video you could get your written content, from
Hmm.
the video you could get your audio content, you could get your shorter form contents, you could get your quotables, everything you can get when you concentrate or you focus on creating the video content. And let me just be clear, I love live video content, but it doesn't always have to be live video content. So it could be recordings. Just start with the videos.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. So when it comes to the social media that they're putting out, the content rather, the the written content, does it have to? Well, let me ask you this: how do you feel about hiring people to do your content for you? Do you think that is something a lot of business owners need to do, or is it something that they should take the time to learn? Or how do you feel about it? I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Barrett, that's $1 million question.
Uh oh. I like having my questions be valuable. So,
That's $1 million question. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be totally honest. I know I might probably step on some toes here when
step,
I say
step.
things.
That's what we're
Okay.
here for. Step. We
But
live.
I'm going to say this. As a social media strategist, as a social media manager, and believe you me, people have asked me to write their content. And I'm going to tell you, this is the place where I've grown into, because in the beginning, I was like, write your content. Oh, I struggle to write my content. What are you talking about? Did you not hear me say when I said every time I gotta go write something, I need to take a nap before I can write the thing? It's a process. So in order for me to write your content, I'll be sleeping all day. Give me something. No, so it's a thing. Like, and it used to be one of the things that challenged me, in the space, in the early years. People say, well, you're a social media person, like, just write my content. And I just be like, well, what is it that you want me to write? I don't know. I wish I could go inside your head and pull it out, but I don't
Mhm,
know
mhm.
what you want me to say. Writing is not my forte, and it's not my thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first thing. So my answer to the question, Barrett, is own your message. As the entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you are responsible for your message. So no one knows your message like you know your message.
True.
Okay, so your responsibility as the entrepreneur is to get your message out. Okay, hone in on your message, be clear on your message, know exactly who you're talking to. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
communicate, have those connecting conversations with your audience. Now, where does a social media manager or social media strategist come in? Once again, once you get in the habit of consistently producing content, then we could take content and we could formulate it to fit platforms.
Okay.
So if you, once again, going back to the video, because this is how I work with my clients. So I
Mm-hmm.
have all my clients on, on my what you call it, my God, the word is escaping me on my strategy. I'm just going to say that. So, what we're going to do, my framework. So, what we're going to do, we're going to commit to committing to doing a video a week, one video a week. That's your conversation that you're having with your audience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From that video a week, we could source that video for everything else that we need. So, whether it's a blog article, you could hire someone to do that. Okay, you could get a VA to do that. You could
Yeah.
have your social media manager do that. Okay, if you need your quotables, you could once again have your team pull those quotables for you. If you
Yeah.
need your video edited into stories and reels, you could have your team. What your team cannot do for you is show up on the video and be you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to be responsible for your message, and I know for some entrepreneurs that's like the hardest thing because no, but it's true because they focus on all the other things, and I'm not downplaying any other
No.
areas or any
No.
other things that we have to do in our business because it really does take a lot to make businesses run and be successful. But once again, your marketing should be 80% of what it is you're doing. So 80% of your time, that's another thing that I learned from Trevor Ox. You mentioned him. 80% of your time should be
Mm-hmm.
spent marketing. And so this your conversation, your message out into the marketplace, that's where your focus is supposed to be because guess what? If you are not getting your message out there, you're not connecting with people, you're not going to attract anyone to your business.
I love it. Now and it's interesting because you hit on something and it brings up another question. This is another step on the toe question. Do you feel that many business owners do not own their message or do not even know what to say when it comes to their messaging?
Oh, Barrett. You did not tell me you was inviting me to a toe stepping session
Toe
today.
stepping,
Um,
yes, yes. You know me.
but you
I step toes.
but this is the thing when we get into talking about our messaging, and especially if you are, in the coaching and the consulting industry,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But it applies to others. You have to own your message. You have to spend time crafting your message.
Hmm.
Okay, you have to know what it's about because I'm going to tell you from my experience, one of the things that I learned the hard way. I
Hmm.
stepped out as a social media strategist and supported a lot of brands getting their message out into the marketplace.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, when I relaunched my brand, I thought it was going to be easy. I had all the tools, Barrett. You know me. I had the
Yeah, 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 yeah.
gadgets. I was that person that you would never see me without my computer bag. And in there, that was like my bag of tricks. I had everything.
Several
But
computers and everything.
yeah, so this is the part that I missed. The part that I missed was I'm not the only person out here who does social media.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so there are countless other people who do social media strategies, who could set up stuff on social media, who could teach people how to do videos.
Hmm.
What was missing from my brand was me. So why would anyone want to work with me versus working with someone else? And so what I found, it was less and less of the thing that I do versus who am I really connecting with.
Yes,
And
yes.
then once you find your people, and this is the thing that I want everyone to get, is like once you find your people and you find your loyal people, that's going to be the fuel for your brand. And if
Yeah,
you do it correctly, your people will journey with you,
yes,
meaning they will grow along with you.
yeah.
So as you learn, you're able to impart things, on to them for them to learn and grow.
I
So
love
and it's always a thing of always studying and always getting good, not only at your craft, but getting good at your messaging. So one of the things you start off in the top of the show in sharing is that I used to be afraid of the camera. So this is part of my journey and part of my growth. I had to become that person who could sit and do a video, do an
it. Hmm.
interview, and host a show and host a platform. So there's many different components that go into those things, more so than just the skill set, the
Yeah,
physical thing of
yeah,
turning on Ecamm or turning on StreamYard. You could teach people how to do that, but it's all of the other stuff that goes on up here,
yeah.
all of the other things that block them. So how are you communicating that into the marketplace to let people know that I'm that person to help you get from where you are to where you want to be?
I love it. So let's get to the elephant in the room. I'm going to just say two words, and I'm going to let you talk. It's not physically. I'm going to say two words, and I'm going to let you talk, good, bad, or indifferent. There's no judgment. I just want to get your opinion on it. The two words are, when it comes to social media, artificial intelligence.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Go
True
on.
story. Yeah. So true story. Another colleague that we know in common, another dear friend of ours, Barrett,
Mhm.
Howard White,
Oh yes, B. Howard White. Yes.
the Howard White. And I remember it's been 3 years. It's about 3 years. 3 years ago, Howard came to me. He said, Taria, are you taking a look at this AI stuff? And I'm like, no. You come back again 6 months later. Taria, look what I could do. And I'm like, refuse to take a look at it, Barrett. You ain't taking a look. So about the third time, he circled back. He said, I really think you should look at this. And I go, um, now explain to me, why would I do that? Why? The name of my program is called Content Plan for Profit, where I teach entrepreneurs to get their authentic message into the market. So why would I encourage anyone to use artificial intelligence? So needless to say, I didn't really understand
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
and
Makes sense.
didn't understand the power of AI, and I was left with a lot of the questions. And one of the biggest questions that I had, if everyone is using AI tools, eventually, wouldn't we all sound alike in the marketplace? What
Uh,
would be the differentiator? So that was my big question.
right. Right.
But
Right. Right.
first of all, I am a student, and my commitment is to always learn. And so I too started to take a look at AI and AI tools. And of course, there's several. of them out there, several of them, which I now use in my business. But one of the things when I looked at it, I said, you know what? There's a missing component here. And the thing that's missing here is you. Like, so
Mhm.
how in all of this fabulousness, how can we not get lost?
Yeah.
And so as I started to look at it, I said, I can't forget me out of the equation. So as much as I use AI, and I've learned how to program, Chat GTP to speak to my brand voice, to take a look at my frameworks and write in my frameworks and all of that stuff. So it's as we get into using these tools is not to let our message, and we're going back to once again our message, not to let our message, not to let our authenticity get lost in what it is that we do. And so there are specific strategies that I teach my clients when using AI, because people have come to me and said it, clients have said, I've tried using things like ChatGTP and I didn't like it because the content didn't sound anything like me. And so
Mhm.
what they were doing is just going in and inputting their questions or asking, for the prompt and not really training the AI or giving the AI to whichever one you're using the opportunity to learn about you, your personality,
Yeah.
your things that are uniquely you. You did not train the AI to speak definitely in your brand voice. You could give AI things like your frameworks,
Yeah.
to use. And
Yeah.
so as you develop content, it gives you content back in your voice. So now when I look at AI, I look at AI as a collaborative partner. So when I use my tools like ChatGTP, there's so many of them out there, but ChatGTP definitely GPT, yeah, is one of my favorites, right? I program it, to come as close to me as possible. And it's not just taking the stuff out and putting it out there now that it's done, it's going back using it to refine. So I look at AI as a collaborative partner, and I also look at AI as a thinking partner as well. So definitely, I am in love with my AI tools. I'm super excited.
And remind me to share some AI with you, and I'll share it with the rest of you too for watching this as well. But definitely, so Taria, I want you to please quickly tell the audience who your clients are and who you serve and what you do with your clients.
Yes. So my clients, my divine clients, are coaches, they're consultants, they're authors, they're speakers that want to get their authentic message into the marketplace. And so what I do is I help them from hiding out on social media. I know a lot of people out there are on social media, but they're really literally just hiding out. So meaning that they don't show up on social media as their authentic selves. So what I do is help them shine on social media. And if you allow me to, Barrett,
Go
I'll
ahead,
just break it down really quickly. When
please.
I talk about shining, it's not about all of the fancy stuff. It's not about all the bling bling. Shine simply means to show up and show up consistently, hone in on your message and hone in on your audience, create impact and influence in the marketplace, nurture and build those relationships, and overall create an amazing experience for your audience.
I love it. I love it. Now, one thing I want to have you do before we begin to wrap up here, if you could give for people who are listening, because I know people just want something simple that they can take and run with right now. What are like
Mhm.
a few strategies that you can give people to start with their social media, especially for those business owners, to make it so that they can make a difference in what they're doing right
Oh, gosh, which one do I pick, Barrett?
now? Well, you're the expert. We got time, so you can pick all of them if you want. But I just like
Oh, that's huge. Okay, one strategy. Gosh, okay.
you can make
So
it
I
more than
think
one. You can make it several. I don't care.
yeah, but no, I really want to start with this one because once again, the biggest thing that I encounter, or one of the biggest questions that I encounter working with clients, is how do I stay consistent on social media? So I think the tip that I'm going to share is to cut through the social media overwhelm. And what do I mean by cutting through the social media overwhelm? Start by choosing those one or two platforms that you are going to focus on, period. No more than one or two. So it doesn't have to be all 150, just one or two platforms that you are going to hang your hat and you are going to focus on. And then be consistent. Okay. Now, when I say be consistent, I don't mean that you have to show up every day, all day. You don't have to have, 3 or 5 posts every day going out on your platforms. No. Create a rhythm of consistency for yourself and create a rhythm of consistency for your audience. And so I'm going to go back to saying this, Barrett. One of the things that, once again, why I love doing the live video is because one of the things that I've learned with social media Saturdays, I built a consistency around social media Saturdays. And so I know that I could commit to doing one live video a week, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. And so that's the commitment that I gave to myself. That's the commitment that I gave to my audience. And so I created that expectancy. So people expect to see me Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. on social media Saturday. So if that's what you could do, you could do that. So create the expectation for your audience and honor it. Okay, so that's like the biggest tip. So even if it's not video, if you are, committing to writing one good post a day, write one good post a day. If it's 3 good posts a week, write 3 good posts a week. Okay, create the consistency in your business because you know what? Success loves, and what success thrives on, success thrives on consistency. So be consistent.
I love it. That's a fact. And guys, we're going to be talking about that and more. The first week of April, April 3rd, I'm doing a Media Boss Masterclass. We're going to be talking about various forms of media, social media being one of them, probably at the top of the list. We're going to talk about podcasting, streaming videos, all types of things, books and so forth, all types of media we'll be talking about on the Media Boss Masterclass. Is going to be coming the first week of April. Now, Taria Hodge, my dear friend, I love this girl dearly. All this stuff, me and her we go back like like seats in a Cadillac, 75 Cadillac. But but the thing is, I want to make sure that all of this audience here can get in touch with you if they need to hire you for their services. So please, if you will, let them know how they can get in touch with you and how they can get you to help them with their social media. Now, hold on, before I do that, not be bugging my girl if you're not serious. I'm just making it clear. So there was a time when people would just do that. So she's beyond that now. So I just want to make sure that y'all serious about your business. But if you want to get in touch with Taria Hodge, Taria, how can they do so?
So the first thing that I would like to invite the audience to do is to stay connected. So one of the best ways to stay connected with me is in my community, and it's called Storytelling for Superachievers. So you could actually go to Facebook. And in Facebook, type in Storytelling for Superachievers. This is a platform, the community I host with none other, Susan Hart, Mindset Mastery Mentor. And this is where I commit to showing up and nurturing my audience. Okay, so you can connect with me, Facebook, Storytelling for Superachievers. Now if you are out there and you do have specific questions and you want to learn a little bit more of how you could implement strategies in your business for social media, I'm going to offer a 30-minute complimentary discovery call. And so you can access that call by, or the link to schedule a time with me, by going to bit.ly, that's bit.ly /SMS discovery. So bit.ly, bit.ly /SMS discovery. Schedule your time, bring your questions, and yeah, we'll see how I could help you move the needle when it comes to your social media.
I love it. I love it. And also make sure you guys join Taria on Saturdays at 10 a.m. for Social Media Saturdays as well. And as far as, so I know some of you are wondering right now, but well, Barrett, what about your masterclass? I haven't really put it out there yet, but it's going to be coming in about a week. I'm going to be letting you all know how to register for the master class. It's going to be April 3rd because I want you guys there so you can learn about all different forms of media, with social media being one of them. I want to definitely say right now to Ria, I thank you so much for joining me today on Media Boss Live. I appreciate you. I love you. You know, you and I, we talk all the time. So we'll be talking soon. And the thing is, we used to talk even more than this, but but that's hard to believe. But but we will be talking very soon. So thank you again for joining me today, Taria.
You're welcome.
All right, all
You're
right,
welcome. Thank you so
all
much for
right.
having me on.
I appreciate you. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on Media Boss Live. Please share this out with people. Let everyone know how they can be a part of this. We're going to be doing more of these. We have another one coming next week. I look forward to sharing more with you guys. And make sure that you are putting yourself everywhere all at once. We'll see you next time on the Media Boss Live.